Welcome back to the Ancestral Findings Podcast. Herbert Hoover, the 31st President of the United States, remains a complex and resilient figure in American history. Known for leading the country during the Great Depression's onset, Hoover's life story is rooted in his early family experiences, self-reliance, and service-oriented values. Born on August 10, 1874 in West Branch, Iowa, Hoover was the first U.S. president born west of the Mississippi River, a fitting testament to the pioneer spirit that shaped his life. Central to Hoover's life was his Quaker upbringing, a faith emphasizing peace, simplicity, and service to others. His father, Jesse Hoover, came from a line of Quaker blacksmiths and farmers who had settled in Ohio after emigrating from Germany in the 18th century. Originally, Huber, the family name was anglicized to Hoover upon arriving in America, symbolizing their integration into the New World. Jesse established a blacksmith shop in West Branch, Iowa, providing comfortably for his family and earning a reputation for hard work and honesty. Herbert's mother, Huldah Randall Minthorn Hoover, was a devout Quaker with roots in both Canada and New England. Her family were early settlers in the Oregon Territory, embodying the westward movement that defined much of early America. Huldah, deeply religious and active in the Quaker community, instilled in her children a strong sense of duty, charity, and faith. These values would profoundly shape Herbert's character and eventually his political philosophy. While Hoover's early years were stable, they were also marked by tragedy. In 1880, when Herbert was only 6, his father died suddenly of a heart attack, a devastating blow to the family. Leaning on their Quaker faith and community, they endured, with Huldah working tirelessly as a seamstress and midwife. Yet only 3 years later, Huldah also passed away from pneumonia, leaving Herbert and his siblings orphaned. At 9, Herbert went to live with his maternal uncle, Dr. John Minthorn, in Newberg, Oregon. Minthorn, a Quaker physician and educator, provided young Hoover with structure and discipline. Life in Oregon exposed Herbert to new opportunities and expanded his view of the world, balancing the simplicity of his Quaker roots with his uncle's emphasis on education and personal growth. Hoover's education in Oregon set the stage for his future achievements. He attended the Friends Pacific Academy, now George Fox University, where he excelled in mathematics and engineering. In 1891, he enrolled at Stanford University, joining its inaugural class to study geology, a decision that marked a turning point in his life. Stanford provided him with not only education, but also a community of peers and mentors that would shape his future. After graduation, Hoover's career as a mining engineer began, and his expertise quickly became renowned. His work took him across Australia, China, and London, and by 40 he had amassed significant wealth. His success allowed him to retire from business and dedicate himself to public service, where his Quaker values of charity and humanitarianism became even more evident. Hoover's engineering skills and global experience soon led him into humanitarian work. When World War I began, Hoover was in London and quickly volunteered to help stranded American tourists return home, aiding over 120,000 people. This marked the start of Hoover's lifelong commitment to humanitarian causes. His most notable achievement during the war was leading the Commission for Relief in Belgium, coordinating food and supply deliveries to millions affected by the conflict. His efforts earned him the nickname the Great Humanitarian. Recognizing his organizational skills, President Woodrow Wilson appointed him head of the U.S. Food Administration in 1917, where Hoover managed food production and distribution during the war. He encouraged Americans to conserve food through voluntary rationing, a campaign known as Hooverizing. His reputation as an effective administrator laid the groundwork for a future in public office. By 1928, Hoover's extensive experience in business, engineering, and humanitarian work made him a strong presidential candidate. Running as a Republican, he promised to continue the prosperity of the 1920s. He won the election handily, but within months of his inauguration, the stock market crashed, launching the Great Depression. The economic crisis would come to define Hoover's presidency and his legacy. Hoover's response to the Depression reflected his belief in self-reliance and individualism, values rooted in his Quaker upbringing. He hesitated to use federal power to intervene directly in the economy, instead promoting voluntary cooperation between businesses and government. Yet as the crisis deepened, critics argued that his approach was too limited. Despite his best efforts, including creating public works programs and establishing the Reconstruction Finance Corporation, Hoover was unable to stem the economic decline. When he left office in 1933, the Depression had reached its darkest point. After leaving the White House, Hoover continued his humanitarian efforts, focusing on international relief and advocating for government reform. He became a prolific writer, publishing works on economics, government, and his public service experiences. Though his presidency is often associated with the Depression's struggles, Hoover's post-presidential years helped restore his image as a statesman and humanitarian. Herbert Hoover passed away on October 20, 1964, at 90, having lived to see his legacy reevaluated. Today, many recognize his contributions to public service both before and after his presidency. His life story, marked by early hardship and a steadfast commitment to serve, remains a powerful example of resilience and dedication to enduring values. For those interested in learning more, here are a few highly recommended books about Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover, An Extraordinary Life in Extraordinary Times by Kenneth Whyte, a well-researched and engaging biography that offers a nuanced look at Hoover's life, focusing on his contributions both before and after his presidency. Herbert Hoover, A Life by Glen, Jeansonne. This biography delves deeply into Hoover's personal and professional life, painting a portrait of a misunderstood leader. Herbert Hoover, A Biography by Eugene, Lyons. This older biography provides a thorough examination of Hoover's early career, humanitarian work, and presidency. Thanks for spending time with me on the Ancestral Findings podcast. I always enjoy sharing these stories, tips, and discoveries with you. If you haven't already, head over to ancestralfindings.com, where you can download a free genealogy ebook, request a free lookup, and of course, enter to win the next book giveaway. It's been an incredible journey together since 1995, and your support through these past 29 years means more to me than words can express. I'm so grateful for this wonderful community of genealogy enthusiasts who continue to inspire me every day. Keep up the great work on your family history research, and may your next find be as exciting as your first. Thank you again for being part of this journey, and as always, happy searching.